Alright guys, we're doing Arms Warrior now. It's pretty simple. Um, I'll explain with stance dancing and whatnot, which is switching to Berserker stance, using abilities such as Execute, Slam, Heroic Strike, and then switching back to Battle stance. But I want to do two quick things before I forget. I will show you guys how to reforge and gemming. It's the same for both specs, I just didn't mention it. If it is a purple gem, and the socket bonus is 20 strength or more, you will put a 20 strength, 20 hit gem in that socket. So as you can see here, I don't lose out on any strength. If I put a 40 strength gem in there, it would be the exact same amount of strength as using the hybrid, but I gain 20 hit in doing so, which is really nice. And when it's something like your tier chest here, where it's a yellow socket, you will do 20 strength, 20 crit, as long as the socket bonus is 20 strength or more, which here it's 30, so I actually, by putting in that socket bonus, I gain 10 strength and I gain 20 critical strike rating. So that's gems. That is really all you need to know about gems. For other things such as the ring here, it's a yellow. If I put a 20 strength, 20 crit on that, I'd be losing out on 10 strength. And strength is your best stat. Let's see now. I was going to show how Reforged Light worked. So I'm an Arms Warrior now. So I go Warrior, Arms. Alright, calculate. It takes a little bit here. And come on down to show, and then as you can see over here on my character, I have more hit than I need because I was Fury, and Mastery is a little bit more important now, but crit is still my major stat. And there you go. That's as low as my hit can get, I'm pretty sure. I mean, you can hit calculate again if you want. It can change your stats a little bit, and because it's a warrior, it's gonna change a little bit, and because warriors are a little weird in my opinion. But there you go, perfect at 8, a little bit under expertise. So if I had all correct enchants, it would be easier. Like if I put actually 50 hit on my boots, it would reforge a little easier and smoother. But that's basically the gist of how Reforged Light works and why I love it so much. So I'll meet you guys at the training dummies and we can get started on talents and glyphs. Alright guys, now we got talent trees for Arms Warrior. Now both for Arms and Fury, Fury has one point that you can change around, which is Blood Craze and Die by the Sword, which I explained in the last video. Other than that, Arms and Fury have a set talent tree, which if you don't do it this way, you are not going to do the maximum DPS that you are allowed to do. So we'll start off with War Academy, which increases the damage done by your Mortal Strike, which Mortal Strike you get for being a Arms Warrior. Raging Blow, Devastate, Victory Rush, and Slam. So Mortal Strike and Slam deal 15% more damage. That's nice, real nice. Increases all healing that you receive, awesome, and increases the healing abilities by yourself by an additional 20%. That's awesome too. The reason we get Blitz, which is your charge generates 5 additional rage and stuns an additional nearby target, is because after putting all these points in here, you have 30 when you put your second point in here. This is your 31, which unlocks Blade Storm, which we'll get to in a sec. Tactical Mastery. You want 2 in this because you retain up to an additional 50 rage when you change stances. Now the reason it's important to do that is we'll battle shout here and we'll get some rage real quick. Alright, let's just build it up. Okay, so there you go, I'm at 60 rage. Why it's important to stance is when I go to Berserker stance, I deal 10% more damage, and some of my abilities I can use in Berserker stance, so I pop it, and unlike Fury, my rage doesn't change. It stays the same. So it's important to get that because you're going to want to stance to deal more damage. Deep Wounds, real important. Your critical strikes cause the opponent to bleed, dealing 48% of your melee weapon's average damage over 6 seconds. Awesome. Taste for Blood. This is the most important thing in your entire tree. So increases your overpower critical strike chance by 60%. By 60%. That is almost a guaranteed crit every time you overpower. In addition, whenever your rend ability causes damage, you have a 100% chance of allowing you to use overpower for 9 seconds. This effect cannot occur more than once every 5. So the reason that is so important is because overpower can only be triggered when you are blocked, dodged, or parried. So every time you deal with damage with Rend, it makes so you can use Overpower, and Overpower hits very hard. So you want free Overpowers. Sweeping Strikes, awesome for 2 targets. Awesome for AoE. So you have to get that. You just have to. No other abilities in here that you can get. Impale increases the critical strike chance. It increases the critical strike damage bonus of Mortal Strike, Slam, and Overpower. So 3 of your main abilities deal 20% more critical strike damage. Awesome. Improved Slam decreases the swing time of Slam by 1 second, increases its damage by 20. Now, the reason you want this is with Slam as a arms warrior, it never becomes instant. You have to cast it to deal damage. So, you have to cast Slam. Reducing its cast time is awesome. Blood Frenzy, your bleed effects cause the target to take an extra 4% physical damage. Applying a bleed effect increases bleed damage taken by the target by 30% for 1 minute. This is the same as Mangle for Feral Druids. In addition, your auto attacks have a 10% chance to generate 20 rage. That's awesome. You want tons and tons of rage. I mean, it's like a hunter. If anybody, I'm sure everybody's played a hunter. Everyone has hunters. More energy or more rage means more damage. So, you want one in Deadly Calm. This is for the next 10 seconds. None of your abilities cost rage, but continue to generate rage. Cannot be used during inner rage. A lot of the cooldowns that you use as a warrior cannot be used together. So, such as other classes where, let's say Ret Paladin, I pop my Guardian of Ancient Kings, I pop Avenging Wrath, I pop Zealotry, I pop everything. None of them have cooldowns with each other. If I pop Deadly Calm here, I can't use Inner Rage, and for the next 10 seconds I can't use Recklessness. So I can't use my cooldowns in conjunction with each other. Kinda sucks, but you know, it's because we'd kill everything in one hit in PvP if they didn't have that. Your Mortal Strikes causes the Slaughter effect, which refreshes the duration of Rend on the target, which is awesome. Never reapply Rend again. And increases the damage of your Execute, Overpower, Slam, and Mortal Strike by 10%. This stacks up to 3 times. So increasing your main ability's damage by 30% is amazing. Sudden Death. Your melee hits have a 6% chance of resetting the cooldown on your Colossus Smash, and you keep 10 rage after using Execute. This is awesome because Colossus Smash again is the same as it is on a Fury Warrior, except you're going to get a lot more Colossus Smashes off as a Arms Warrior. The reason for that is your Forset can activate it by having a 13% chance to apply the effect from Mortal Strike. You will always keep that on cooldown. So you got 20 seconds on Colossus Smash. It lasts 6 seconds. After those 6 seconds, or even during those 6 seconds, your Mortal Strike can apply it, which means it lasts 6 more seconds. And then while you deal damage with your melee hits, you have a chance for resetting that cooldown. So you can almost have it up. You can have it up like more than 50% of the fight. I almost skipped on here. Juggernaut. Your charge ability is now usable well in combat and in all stances. And the cooldown of your charge is reduced by 2 seconds. Following a charge, your next Slam or Mortal Strike has an additional 25% chance to critically hit if used within 10 seconds. So, wow. That makes your Mortal Strike and Slam crit, basically. And charging is very important. It's an awesome way to get to the enemy. And stance dancing is recommended, which I'll explain in the DPS thing. Your Mortal Strike critical hits have a 100% chance to enrage you, increasing physical damage caused by 10% for 12 seconds. So, my Mortal Strike is the ability I get for being Arms, wow. And it's a very short cooldown, as you can see, 4.5 seconds. And causing you to be enraged every time you crit is pretty crazy. As you can see, I only have 15% hit, or crit, down from the 25% I had as Fury. But in my talent tree, almost all of my abilities have their own set crit that adds onto mine, and that's why it's a little bit lower. And finally, you need a point in Blade Storm. There's really no other place you can put it. and you will only use this for an AoE instance. You will never use it for single target. It is very bad single target DPS. Basically, you spin around and you deal a ton of damage. It's pretty darn nice, as you can see here, when spinning. And it's just constantly hitting. Every time it crits, it can apply... Well, there you go, it applies to them all. It'll apply deep wounds. And this will also proc your mastery, which has a chance to trigger an extra melee attack that deals 100% normal damage. So, that's pretty nifty. And next we'll go over to Fury. Battle Trance, just like you wanted in Fury. Your Bloodthirst, which we don't care. Mortal Strike and Shield Slam have a 15% chance to make your next special attack that costs more than 5 rage, consume no rage. So, we already know that's good. Try to make a power war for that. Cruelty increases the critical strike chance of Bloodthirst and Mortal Strike and Shield Slam by 10%. So Mortal Strike, 10% more crit. Apply with all this. You're almost guaranteed crit with Mortal Strike. You want Executioner, just like you did in Fury. It's just as important for arms. The faster you attack, the more you have for everything to go right. And same as Bloodlust, you attack faster. We want 3 in Insight this time. And the reason for that is every time I crit with Heroic Strike, it has a 100% chance for the next one to be a crit. So it's pretty nifty. And it also increases its critical strike chance by 15%. So that's nice. We'll move on to Glyphs here. So you want Glyph of Overpower. Overpower is your highest damaging move. So you want that increased by 10%. That's pretty nice. Mortal Strike, it increases the damage of Mortal Strike by 10%. And Slam, it increases the critical strike chance of Slam by 5%. Now, for Major, which you can get in Fury 2, which I just never put because I really don't play Fury a lot, is Glyph of Cleave. It increases the number of targets that your Cleave hits. So I believe it hits 3 targets once you put that in. Sweeping Strikes, it costs no rage. You want that. You want Glyph of Sweeping Strikes. Because when you pop Sweeping Strikes, you don't want to have to waste rage on it. I went in Glyph of Colossus Smash, just because, you know, applying Thunder Armor is pretty nice. So, that does it for Glyphs and Talents. If you have any other questions, like any other points that you can put anywhere else, let me know. Again, I'll link Reforged Light in the video, so that you guys can just use that as a Reforged system, and I don't have to teach you guys what is your stat priorities. Alright, for the next video we'll go over rotation, and I'll do my best to do a little more DPS this time. Alright, see you guys then.